usual, I'm Russ Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
And tonight we'll break down a radical week of racing as we explore the epic month of money in sprint car racing, highlighted by Ryan Tim's historic run at the 360 Knoxville Nationals and Kyle Larson's ruthless aggression at the Front Row Challenge, and then switch grooves to NASCAR's paved gauntlet, featuring high thermal degradation at Iowa Speedway, high speed drafting and heavy braking to the ultimate battlegrounds in the American Midwest. Uh, that's how I can put it. But get ready for our synthesis of how multidisciplinary mastery, accelerated youth development via high fidelity simulation, and hyper specialized engineering are fundamentally redefining modern motorsports. Put that visor down. Have those tear-offs ready because this isn't just racing.
This is Switching Grooves.
Nate, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. We're getting ready for our big weekend up in New Hampshire. I'm getting excited about that.
Oh yeah, it's been pretty interesting around here, man. I'll tell you what, um, getting back into the sport of kart racing as an official, uh, it's been a little different than it was in the past. So,
Oh, yeah.
uh, I'll tell you, tracks trying to step all over each other, uh, and they want all of the carts for themselves. People showing up from other tracks who coming from one track to another just to cause trouble during money shows and start shit. I'll tell you what, it is absolutely ridiculous.
It does get crazy.
But I'll tell you what, as a race director and flagman, I will not put up with the bullshit, and neither will my promoter, Chad at Great Lakes Speedway. That's absolutely something he will not tolerate, and that is exactly why I do enjoy working for him.
Hoping the
Uh,
weather will be nice this weekend.
I tell you what, man, I literally had some jackass, we'll just call them,
Uh-oh.
literally contacted me through Facebook, either with a fake name or a fake profile or some bullshit, but the name was like something really stupid, like an AI generated bullshit name. And they contacted me in what mode do they call? They call it private mode or whatever the hell it is called, where it's like Snapchat, the messages will
Oh,
disappear once they're read.
disappearing mode. Disappearing
Yeah,
mode.
the
I
whatever the hell it's called. But literally, they wanted all kinds of information about our racetrack. And the only thing that I gave them was the promoter's name and number to contact if they wanted it. They wanted shit like the insurance information
Sounds like a scammer.
and the owner's information. No, it was a driver
Oh,
or somebody. I mean, it sounded like a driver the way they were speaking, and they
yeah.
were using shorthand,
Yeah.
and they were using shorthand as a race driver. So I know it wasn't a scammer, but
Yeah.
dude, it was complete just bullshit. And they even asked me how much it would take money wise for me to throw races by making shit calls. And I'll tell
That's
you
a
this,
little
man.
shady.
I'll tell you this, Nathan, I will go back to retirement before I
Before
do
you,
anything like
yeah.
that. I have always been honest with the racers and told them straight up, "God, I will not do it, period, whatsoever. And the day I do is the day I walk away. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to walk away. So, you know, I am one of the best in my own opinion. I'm very confident, as you can see while you were here when I was running a race. I'm very
I had a
confident in my
blast.
ability. Um, I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I feel that I am one of the best around, and I'm one, if not the most unbiased around. And I will not play favorites. I will not take money. And if you can't handle that, then a show that I'm working is just not the show for you. So I couldn't believe that bullshit, dude. And
Oh yeah.
it, I can't even, now it just says like they either blocked me or deleted me or deleted the account or whatever. Because now it just says a Facebook user when I go to
Yeah.
look at and there's no conversation because everything was disappearing or whatever the hell it is. It was stupid. It was absolutely, and I won't do it. And I let my promoter know what was going on, so he's well aware of it. And if something does happen, it can't come back on me. So I mean, it is
Oh yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe some asshole even do something like that. Excuse my mouth, dude. I know, but
Right.
that just absolutely pissed me off and really made the weekend kind of crappy for me.
Yeah.
Outside of having my son with me, you know, it, it was just
I
absolutely
definitely had
ridiculous.
fun. I had fun at the track. It seemed like it ran pretty good. We didn't really have any issues. The one guy I met was kind of fun to talk to. I liked talking to some of the guys that were there. It was kind of fun to be there as I wouldn't say it as an official, kind of I guess as a track assistant maybe. I enjoyed it. That was kind of a nice change of scenery for me. Instead of being stressed about racing, just being able to go out there and just kind of help marshal. I wouldn't say marshal the race, but I guess that's a good way to put it. Just be out there to help. I had fun.
Well,
Should we
we
talk
got a
about some
lot.
dirt racing?
Well, we've got a lot of good people that really. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
uh, uh, one of the most interesting people I love talking to every week is actually our photographer and her husband.
Yeah.
Um, Lux Bailey with Deluxe Photos. I tell you, she does an excellent job with photos, and they just want to have fun, dude. And I'll tell you what, that's what it's all about. So, but like I said before, there's there are some people that may be mad at me, but I couldn't believe it. I actually had to chew a guy out for the way he was driving. But at the end of that conversation, he asked me how long I'd been doing this, and actually told me that he enjoys racing at shows that I'm working and that I'm running because I was one of his favorite flagmen, if not his most favorite. And I couldn't believe he said that after I had just chewed him out about settling down on his driving.
Yeah.
He still, he still had the audacity to literally compliment me, and I appreciate that. I really do. So that just goes to show you, I didn't choose this sport, to be honest with you. I feel this sport chose me because, I grew up around it. I mean, they literally, since the day I moved to this town, or basically since the day I was born, they ran a street race at the fair in this town every year. So, I mean, this sport chose me. And to the people that are mad at me or that were mad at me or whatnot. Guys, okay, I wasn't dying to come back to this sport. I really wasn't. Okay, I was enjoying being retired, but I noticed that the sport around here was dying, if not already pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So I came back for the sport because I felt the sport needed me. We have too many people out there that don't want to take responsibility and that don't have a backbone when it comes to making calls and such. So uh that's just how I feel. I wanted to get that off of my chest. So sorry about that. But
You're good.
uh I guess we move right on into dirt racing, but while NASCAR navigated its paved gauntlet, the absolute zenith of the dirt sprint car war descended upon Iowa. The first 2 weeks of August are universally recognized as the month of money, a period where regional loyalties dissolve and the greatest open wheel dirt racers on the planet congregate for a series of high paying, intensely prestigious events. The vehicles utilized, well, the all too familiar purpose built tube chassis sprint car weighing just 1,400 pounds. I think it's 1,475 now. But they generate massive downforce from a 25 square foot top wing that represents one of the purest, most violent forms of motorsports on Earth. So, this past week encompasses two distinct but interconnected pillars: the 360 Nationals at Knoxville and the Front Row Challenge in neighboring Oskaloosa. But before analyzing the on track telemetry, it's imperative to understand the geopolitical landscape of the sport. In 2026, the political and competitive landscape of 410 sprint car racing remains fiercely divided between the World of Outlaws, the historic titan and traditional governing body of the sport, and high limit racing, the disruptive entity co-owned by multidisciplinary star Kyle Larson and multi-time champion Brad Sweet. These two national touring series operate on competing economic models and fiercely guard their full-time rosters. However, the second week of August actually serves as a universal unspoken ceasefire. The gravitational pull and financial gravity of the Knoxville Nationals are so immense that both series traditionally suspend their exclusive scheduling clauses, allowing their rosters to compete in Iowa. This creates a proxy war. When a high limit regular battles a World of Outlaws star, a formidable, independent, true outlaw like Anthony Macri, the event transcends mere competition. It becomes a referendum. Drivers heavily utilize the 360 Knoxville Nationals and the Front Row Challenge as real time, high stakes testing sessions to gather invaluable telemetry regarding track surface breakdown, tire temperatures, and shock valving ahead of the impending $185,000 to win 410 Knoxville Nationals. Held at the famed half-mile Knoxville Raceway in Marion County, Iowa, the 360 Knoxville Nationals acts as both a standalone crown jewel and a vital precursor event. Sprint cars utilizing 360 cubic inch engines produce approximately 700 horsepower compared to the 900 plus horsepower of their 410 counterparts. Because they possess less sheer grunt to power out mistakes, 360 racing places an absolute premium on momentum, precise chassis roll, and minimizing scrubbing speed through the sweeping semi-bank corners of the black clay oval. The event commenced on Thursday, August 6, 2026, and it was an explosive statement from California native Gio Scelzi. Obviously, Scelzi drives the Spire Motorsports number 77, but he demonstrated flawless car control, dominating the 20-lap main event by leading wire to wire from the pole and secured the $3,000 to win preliminary victory. However, the defining engineering narrative of the night was actually authored by Aaron Reitzel. Reitzel set quick time over the massive 53 car field. He mounted a furious late race charge from the fourth row. On lap 7, Reitzel passed James McFadden for 4th, and following a lap 12 caution caused by John Carney's blown left rear tire, Reitzel systematically hunted down the leaders and set up with a chassis setup which clearly favored the slick abrasive conditions of a late racetrack. So that actually allowed him to maintain forward bite where others just spun their tires. In a dramatic final corner maneuver, Reitzel slipped past Kyle Larson to secure second place, and this precise combination of qualifying speed and late race passing points allowed Reitzel to exit Thursday as the high point driver, 492 points, securing his trajectory towards the Saturday night finale. Scelzi's post-race analysis highlighted the rapid evolution of the track surface, noting how quickly the bottom groove took rubber and the middle groove became treacherous due to turbulent air. Friday night's preliminary action was underscored by profound emotional resonance and absolute tactical brilliance. Tyler Courtney, driving the 7VC for Clausen Marshall Racing, captured the 3,000 to win victory exactly 10 years to the day after the passing of sprint car icon Brian Clausen. That kind of was very emotional for them, but great job to him. So the race actually began violently with a 3-car incident on the opening lap. That actually was Whit Gastineau. I believe I said that right. He flipped like massively, heavily damaging his chassis and actually eliminating Joe Beaver and Matt Covington in the process as collateral damage. But once they actually got going again, Brady Bacon established a commanding early lead, pacing a lead pack that included Courtney, Macri, Brian Brown, and 19-year-old prodigy Ryan Timms. As leaders entered heavy lap traffic around the halfway mark, Courtney actually executed a brilliant aerodynamic and mechanical maneuver on lap 11, and he utilized a diamond line driving deep into turn 3 on the high side to maintain momentum, then cutting down sharply across the banking to the bottom of turn 4, and he utilized the moisture for forward bite. Courtney broke the aerodynamic wash and dispatched Bacon for the lead, and further back, Timms showcased his immense talent, climbing from 4th to 3rd in the waning laps, successfully navigating through the dirty air of lap traffic. This critical podium finish actually secured Timms the overall pole position for Saturday's championship feature. So Saturday etched a new historic chapter in the annals of sprint car racing. Ryan Timms led all 30 laps to win a $35,000 to win championship, compromising a $20,000 to win winner's purse and a $15,000 in lap money, or $15,000 in lap money. In doing so, the 19-year-old actually became only the second youngest driver to win the event and joined ultra-exclusive fraternity drivers to win both the 360 and the 410 Knoxville Nationals, standing shoulder to shoulder with legends like Daniel Lasowski and Sammy Swindell. The 30-lap feature was a masterclass in psychological resilience, as well as aerodynamic management and defensive driving. So Timms started on the pole, driving the Liebig, I always say Liebig, I don't know why, the Liebig Motorsports number 10, alongside Reitzel. And at the drop of the green, Timms immediately seized the bottom groove, fending off Reitzel and maximizing his clean air advantage. Recognizing the undisturbed airflow over his front wing, Timms stretched his lead while McFadden temporarily displaced Reitzel for second. But by lap 5, Reitzel actually transitioned his line to the cushion, the treacherous ridge of loose dirt up there against the outside wall, and he reclaimed the runner-up spot, generating immense momentum. The race's critical engineering juncture arrived on lap 10 as Timms encountered the rear of the field, and the turbulent air generated by the lapped cars severely disrupted the downforce on Timms' front wing, compromising his corner entry stability and causing the car to push towards the wall. So, with Reitzel closing rapidly, Timms abandoned the preferred traditional lines and uniquely threaded his car through the slick middle of the racetrack. By utilizing extraordinary throttle control, he prevented wheel spin and successfully negotiated the traffic and reestablished a 1.6-second lead by the halfway point. But in the final laps, it was just a breathless, high stakes pursuit. I mean, no lap cars immediately ahead, and that didn't help Reitzel at all. And the veteran closed the gap organically through sheer speed. But with 2 laps remaining, disaster nearly struck. Timms caught the lap car of Kyler Johnson and coming into turn 1, and that created a severe logjam. I mean, he was stuck on the bottom lane with nowhere to go. He scrubbed significant speed, and Reitzel committed to the exact same line, which made heavy physical contact with the rear bumper of Timms, and the impact could have destroyed the rear suspension of that number 10. But remarkably, both drivers actually held on and maintained control without spinning. On the final lap, though, Timms migrated to the top cushion while Reitzel dove to the bottom. Oh, excuse me, wasn't expecting that. But Timms' momentum off of the top of turn 4 allowed him to cross the line with a microscopic win of 0.167 seconds ahead of
That's
Reitzel.
crazy. That's close.
So Timms completed the 30 laps in a record time of 8 minutes and 44.1 seconds. That's
wild.
That is astounding. The event's grueling foreman also crowned Austin Wood as the Jetco Rookie of the 360 Nationals, earning him a $500 bonus, while Rico Abreu, who won the last chance showdown, by the way, earned the Hard Charger Award by advancing from 21st to 12th in the feature.
That's pretty good.
I mean, man, that's just astounding. I couldn't believe that. 8 minutes, man. Hey, we got go-kart races that last longer than that.
Oh, yeah.
So while Knoxville demands precision, momentum, and aerodynamic efficiency, the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa, a sprawling paperclip-shaped half mile, which is located just 30 minutes away, demands unadulterated bravery. Held on Monday, the 31st McKay Group Front Row Challenge, presented by Country Builders Construction and DKW Transport, offered a massive $21,000 to win purse and served as the perfect, violent, unsanctioned interlude between the 360 and 410 Nationals. The defining narrative of the evening, though, was actually Kyle Larson's relentless, almost ruthless pursuit of history. Obviously, he drives that Paul Silva number 57, but he suffered a catastrophic tire failure in his heat race and relegating the greatest dirt racer of this generation to an 11th place starting position for the 30-lap main event. Now, the front row was actually occupied by the young phenom Ryan Timms, fresh off of his 360 Nationals victory, and veteran Carson Macedo. From the drop of the green, Timms asserted his dominance, leading Macedo, Danny Sams III, Parker Price Miller, and Corey Day. The track surface, though, at Oskaloosa is notorious for developing a treacherous, jagged cushion right up against the outside wall, and the pace was frenetic. By lap 4, utilizing a microscopic margin for error, and actually maximizing the mechanical grip of his right rear tire, Larson had already carved his way from the 6th row into the 8th position. So he was flying. The race was quickly punctuated by a severe chassis destroying attrition. On lap 12, Macedo was running in second and pushing the absolute limits of adhesion. He tangled with the right rear of the lap car of Xavier Doney, and the contact actually launched Macedo into a violent rollover in turn 2. And just 2 laps later, on lap 14, Cale Thomas suffered a similar fate, flipping his machine violently after climbing impressively from 22nd to 10th.
I
But
do
both
have something
drivers
I
were
need to
okay.
correct. There's something I need to
Both
correct in your thing. It actually was a broken axle that negated Kyle from winning the heat to sixth. It was a broken axle. It wasn't a tire.
Oh, was it?
It was. I had to look it up because I thought I saw something about that. Sorry. Go ahead. It was in the heat race. It was a broken axle. Sorry. I want
Oh
to
yeah,
correct
you're
that.
right. My bad. I screwed that up. I was thinking of a different race.
You're good. Go ahead.
But
Sorry.
yeah, I've had a lot going on. I've been working a lot of overtime, and I've only been able to
You're
catch
good.
highlights of things. I haven't even been able to really watch full races right now. But
You're good.
um,
Sorry. Continue.
anyway, following the final caution on lap 17 for Parker Price Miller's flat tire, a legendary duel commenced that will be debated in the sprint car pits for years. Timms led Larson, Day, Sams, and McFadden back to the green flag, and for 10 blistering laps, the 19-year-old Timms held off the most formidable driver on the planet. However, with just 4 laps remaining, Larson executed a maneuver that requires total commitment and absolute spatial awareness. Entering turns 3 and 4, Larson threw a massive controversial slide job. He drove his car from the high side of the track to the lowest part of the track. I mean, the lowest of low. I mean, he was running his car damn near in the grass and crossed the track's apex at a severe angle, and it allowed the car to slide up directly in front of Tim's, but it didn't work out so well. So the move was immensely aggressive and resulted in heavy physical contact. And Larson's car slammed into the front of Tim's machine, knocking the nose wing askew. Now, in sprint car racing, the nose wing provides critical front downforce, and without it, the car will actually push violently towards the wall in the corners. So, severely aerodynamically compromised, Timms could no longer mount a challenge. Larson powered away to the lead, or with the lead, the final four laps, and secured his third consecutive front row challenge victory, and the sixth actually of his career, which gave him the $21,000 to win prize. Corey Day capitalized on Tim's damage to steal second, while a heartbroken Timms limped home in third, and Austin McCarl and James McFadden round out the top 5. So Larson's victory requires analyzing his unique ability to decipher track degradation faster than his peers. While Timms ran the line that was mathematically faster on lap 15, Larson recognized that the moisture retention on the extreme bottom of turn 3 offered just enough forward bite to launch a successful, albeit contact heavy, slide job on lap 26. In the supporting divisions, Trevor Service claimed the 2000 win IMCA Race Saver 305 feature, and the 305 class utilizes spec engines with significantly less horsepower, and it places a massive premium on momentum. Service survived heavy lap traffic and held off a late furious charge from Mike Weldon and Tyler Greenwood to secure the victory. And despite the heartbreak in the main feature for Ryan Timms, he claimed the victory in the highly unique priority aviation foot race, earning him $1,500 by literally outrunning Macedo, PPM, and Sam's on foot down the front stretch of the speedway. So at least he won something. But it was crazy. While the national apparatus, the industry's premier talent, and the overwhelming majority of the sports capital fixated on Iowa, the grassroots ecosystem right here in Ohio remained robust. An exhaustive analysis of the landscape during this week's necessitates the inclusion of Fremont and Attica, which actually form a vital structure and cultural backbone of this sport right here in the Midwest. So during the Nationals week, the local Ohio scene experienced a highly unique economic and competitive dynamic. When the elite national touring drivers and the top tier regional stars vacate the region to chase the massive purses in Iowa, it creates a competitive vacuum. This allows local grassroots competitors, the blue collar racers, fielding family owned, underfunded equipment, to actually step into the spotlight. Fremont and Attica operating synergistically under the Attica Fremont Championship Series banner continue to draw massive, fiercely loyal crowds despite the absence of the national stars. The engineering demands of these two Ohio tracks are distinct and punishing. At Attica Raceway Park, a high bank third mile clay oval becomes famously slick to a cushion, and the track surface actually bakes in right. It just bakes in the August sun. We'll just put it that way. It takes on rubber and requires extreme throttle discipline and precise shock valving to prevent the rear tires from spinning helplessly. Conversely, Fremont Speedway, a semi-bank third mile, demands aggressive elbows up driving where the cushion is often pushed directly against the concrete retaining wall, and the drivers who dominate here in early August rely on profound generational knowledge of the local clay. The engineering here is less about wind tunnel tested aerodynamics and more about fundamental mechanical grip, selecting the exact right stagger and manipulating the cross weight of the chassis to generate forward bite. The survival and prosperity of these tracks during the industry's busiest week is a testament to the localized, tribal nature of dirt track racing. It ensures that the sport remains economically viable at its absolute foundation, maintaining a critical developmental ladder even while its apex reaches global audiences in Iowa. But that's what I've got for dirt. On to NASCAR's paved gauntlet, their aerodynamics, thermal degradation, and versatility. So, Nathan, the modern NASCAR scheduling matrix is deliberately constructed to test the absolute limits of engineering versatility. In the span of a few days, teams fielding the Gen 7 platform in the Cup Series, the composite body platform in the Xfinity Series, and the aerodynamically drag-heavy Truck Series must execute radical setup transitions. The events of this August week actually underscored the immense premium placed on pre-event simulation, modeling, and the ability of drivers to adapt to drastically shifting mechanical grip profiles. So, what do we got for the Cup Series?
That might help. Before we go too far into the Cup Series, we do have to cover one dirt NASCAR crossover. This week it was announced that Chase Briscoe has bought Brett Marks' dirt team. Now, Brett Marks will still be part of the team, and he will take, I believe, it's some sort of managerial position, but he still will drive the 19, and he's going to take a higher up position while he's still driving the 19. But it is kind of cool to have, Chase Briscoe, who, grew up in dirt, and Brett Marks, who is currently in dirt. They both run the 19. Definitely kind of cool to see that crossover where, dirt and NASCAR collides in more than just, one team. So that was just my little crossover thing right there.
I was going to throw that in the 410 Nationals recap next week.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I covered that this week. Sorry.
No big deal.
But
it is what it is.
That was kind of a cool, little tidbit that I saw that it was, it's kind of making it more wholesome with, Chase Briscoe not really being in dirt anymore. He's kind of getting back into it, which will be nice. I want to start with the O'Reilly series because that was more obviously usually more exciting. O'Reilly's normally Saturday. I want to start with the O'Reilly race because we were all talking about JGR and this Brent Cruz kid being, the next big thing. I hate saying it, but the Wrecking Crew was in town on Saturday. I don't know where Brent Cruz thought he was going, but he drove so deep into turn one that he almost hit the apron. He got loose, took out Justin Allgaier, who was on the verge of winning his third straight Iowa race for the O'Reilly series after getting pretty pushed far back in traffic with the late race pit stop. And obviously, Justin Allgaier was not too pleased. They definitely had a discussion on pit road. But, for lack of better terms, and I'm just paraphrasing here, Justin basically told him he's better than this and he can't be doing stupid stuff like that. And that's the best way I had to put that. But in the end, it ended up giving the win to Carson Koppel, who is now 2 for 2 in the last 2 O'Reilly Series races. So definitely kind of cool to see him win back-to-back O'Reilly races, although it was over the course of 3 weeks. So he's 2 for 3 in the last 3 weeks. We'll go with that. So that wasn't a real extreme O'Reilly race, but the excitement towards the very end definitely caught a lot of attention. I'm trying to see how I want to go about this next part, because we were talking about the point standings last week, and the hole just keeps getting bigger and bigger for Tyler Reddick. Everybody thought he was untouchable. Well, he wrecked out, I believe it was lap 4 this week. He got loose collecting Eric Jones on, I believe it was lap 4. They did not get very far into the race. They were talking about they needed a good points day to catch Denny Hamlin, and it went out the window like that. So that was definitely a harder, it's going to be a bigger hole for him to climb out of. Oop. You still there, Russ? Oh yeah, I didn't know what happened there. But yeah, it was Eric, Tyler Reddick has definitely gotten himself in a hole now. Currently he is fourth in the championship. With what will soon be our next storyline, Ty Gibbs is now the number 2 seed in the chase, which absolutely blows my mind. He went from missing the playoffs last year to now he is second to Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney somehow still ended up finishing third out of all that. So definitely a bizarre chain of events. And what makes it even crazier is four of the top 6 are all JGR teams, and they're all 5 of the top 6 are all Toyotas, which I don't know if that should surprise anybody with Chevy's performances. But back to the storylines I was talking about. Like I said earlier, Ty Gibbs ended up actually winning his second career race. He held off his teammate Christopher Bell for the win with, I would say, pretty veteran-like moves. He managed to hold off a very hard charge in Christopher Bell. He basically did everything he needed to hold him off right to the line. So congrats to Ty Gibbs. I'm not a Toyota guy, but it was good to see him win his second race. Definitely need to get him some more media experience, because a 7-minute post-race news conference does not exactly A, help the professional reporters, and B, doesn't exactly make you look real good for how you try to dictate the post-race, conversation. I don't know how I feel about that. I do need to cover a little bit of, we'll call it tea, from the O'Reilly race. Kyle Larson had that move with Ryan Timms on Monday. Apparently he had been practicing that move on Sunday as he came across the nose of Joey Logano and basically had the exact same result as he did on Monday, except he saved it and Joey Logano was not too happy. So a little bit of drama repeating itself over the course of those 2 days. And then later on in the race, John Hunter Nemechek, I guess, slid up and hit Larson, putting him 4 wide, which caused Larson, Bowman, and I forget who the other 2 were, to get into the outside wall, basically destroying Larson's day. Bowman was also junk. He ended up dropping out of the race. But shortly after that, Larson ended up going after John Hunter Nemechek on track. Very, I guess, uncharacteristic for Kyle Larson. I think I've only seen that twice out of him. So, a little bit of a bizarre moment, we'll call it, during the race. But for the final results for the Cup race, we had Ty Gibbs won the race. You have Christopher Bell second. Ryan Blaney finished third. He was kind of just around all day. So a pretty solid performance. The surprise of the day for me, Josh Berry. He literally could not do anything at all this season. He came out of this race with a top 5, finishing fourth. And then you had Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe. They've been kind of around. I would think a career day, or not career day, a season day for Ross Chastain, who has been absolute garbage all year. He came out with a top 10. Allgaier, don't think very much of him on short tracks. He finished 8th. William Byron finished 9th. And Austin Dillon finished 10th to round out the top 10. Zilich actually had a pretty good day, but he finished a lap down in 11th. But just, bizarre day for the Chevys. Probably I would say the career worst, but definitely not a great day for them again, which is not going to do much good for them. Currently, the chase standings, Denny Hamlin is still leading. Ty Gibbs is now second. Ryan Blaney third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Chase Briscoe fifth. Christopher Bell sixth. Chase Elliott seventh. Carson Hocevar eighth. Chris Buescher ninth. Kyle Larson 10th. William Byron 11th. Daniel Suarez 12th. Joey Logano 13th. Bubba Wallace is 14th. Shane Van Gisbergen is still holding on to 15th. And Austin Cindric is at the cutoff line in 16th, with Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and Eric Jones behind him. Definitely going to be a battle for the next few races. They have Richmond, New Hampshire, which we'll be at, and then I believe Daytona is the cutoff in 3 weeks. So I rambled on there a little bit. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that before I cover the next story, Russ? Okay. So here I'm going to bring Russ in on this one because I do want to. I gotta turn my spotlight off. Figure out how to do that. There we go. That didn't work. We're getting there. Either way, so the All-Star race has been announced for 2027. And yes, I am a little bit disappointed by it. And I'm sure a lot of other people are also. North Wilkesboro is back for the All-Star race next year. I have mixed emotions about this. I am ecstatic that it's not Dover or New Hampshire. I am absolutely elated. But I do think North Wilkesboro deserved a points day. They waited so long for it. They gave them one points day, and they took it away. I like the All-Star race being anywhere but Dover or New Hampshire, but I don't know if I wanted it at the cost of, North Wilkesboro losing their points day. Hi, Jason. But so I'm on the fence about that decision. I still think that Bowman Gray would have been a better day, but that has now come and gone. Although they have started announcing dates for this year, it's not a full schedule from NASCAR, but some tracks are getting impatient for their dates. So obviously they're going to have the Clash is now going to be back at Daytona, which I guess I'm okay with, but I still like Bowman Gray better. So we're going to have the 13th of February is the Clash. Then the Super Bowl is the very next day. And then Speed Weeks officially is back. We have, I believe it's practice on Tuesday. They have the qualifying Wednesday, duels Thursday, Truck Series Friday, Xfinity and not Xfinity, O'Reilly and ARCA is Saturday, and the Cup is Sunday. And then they have announced Atlanta will be the next race, and COTA will be the following week. And then I think, I don't know how I feel about Echo Park. I like it, but I feel like the All-Star race doesn't belong at a drafting track because you can just hang each other out. I don't like it.
I say we just do what I was talking about a few weeks ago and
With Charlotte,
take it to a track that take it to a track they don't race. If they're gonna move it around,
well, yeah,
take it to
too.
tracks they don't race on. Take it to a local hometown track where the drivers don't race at all throughout the year. in any series.
But I'm going to rattle off some of the dates that they have announced already. Obviously, they have announced that North Wilkesboro will be the All Star race, and they've announced the first 3 weeks of the schedule. I'm still trying to find the official list, but some of them they have announced, some of them they have not. Currently, we have the Clash is the February 13th. The duels will be the 18th, and the 500 will be the 21st of February. Then they go to Echo Park on the 28th of February. March 7th will be Circuit of the Americas. Phoenix, making sure these are right. Yeah, Phoenix will be the Phoenix will be the fourth race of the year, or fifth, I guess, or no, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Phoenix will be
And
March
why?
14th. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, while you're thinking of that, I want to mention um to Jason. Yeah, I would love to get the four of us on the show together. It would be you and I, and him and Phil from Tronics. I would love to do a show with Phil.
That would be
It,
fun.
and I would also love to do a show with Eric and Matt from Breakhard and um, uh, Out of the Groove. I couldn't think of it there.
You're good. I've tried getting Eric to come on. I don't know if he ever subscribed, but I have talked to him in person about it. Matt, one of these days I'm going to get to actually talk to you, but I feel like he's been avoiding me, so there's not much I can do about that. There is one date on the schedule that they have not announced yet, but there's only so many days they can work with. Next year they have the the Cookout Southern 500 September 5th, and they have the New Hampshire race being September 26th. They did move Watkins Glen from the spring to it is going to be a playoff date in September, but they have not announced that. Given the dates of the Southern 500 and the New Hampshire weekend in 2027, it has to be either September 12th or September 18th or September 19th, I would think, because I can't see them racing on a Saturday at Watkins Glen. But I don't really know why they haven't announced that one yet, but it is getting close. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. We're getting parts of it together. We can almost part the
That
schedule together now.
that's just one of those uh dates that should not be moved. I mean, it should always be the same week every year, just like the
What,
500.
Watkins Glen or the Southern?
No, the Southern and the All Star race.
Oh, the All Star race has moved locations, but it hasn't changed dates. But they moved Watkins Glen from the spring to the fall because for some reason they moved it from the fall the first time, and it was nothing but a mud pit, as we saw many people complaining about. Um, I'm
I
I'm kind
remember
of
when
on
they
the
used to go
fence.
there twice a year.
I think I only remember once, but they might have run twice. I don't remember. The one I am kind of disappointed with is I always liked the Bristol night race being in the chase. It is now August 14th. I'm a little bummed that that moved because that used to always be my birthday weekend. So I am kind of bummed that it's moved, but I can live with that.
I
Um,
used to, I used to like the Mud Summer Classic.
that's the one I want to. I wish they would bring that back. And the Cup cars obviously will never go back. But I always thought the truck race was really good at Eldora, even if they were to go to like Charlotte rather than run North Wilkesboro for the All Star race. Even if they ran it at the Charlotte dirt track, that would be better than having their own Mud Summer Classic at Eldora because I know Tony will never have them back. I wish they would though.
I
Um,
I used to love the prelude to the dream. I don't know why they did away
yes.
with that, but
I have.
I mean,
There are some other
ever
rumors that I want to confirm also, or not confirm, but talk about also. Go ahead.
well, and I know a lot of people argue with me that you know, uh, NASCAR and the dirt, well, to be honest with you, when they were running the dirt, even at Bristol, Eldora, wherever they were at, they should have never used the actual cup cars. They should have had cars that were built specifically for dirt and maybe ran a couple of shows a year. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy one, but you could rent one from a local team or whatever. I mean, and just use late models so you don't have to worry about a special car. Just use, you know, a regular old, uh, super late model, UMP late model, whatever you want to go by, but War of
Make an
Outlaws,
exhibition
whatnot.
or something. Make an exhibition race like it
Yeah,
used to be.
but anyway,
There is some things that I have seen that could be potentially holding up the schedule for 2027. There is talks that there is no funding for the Charlotte race, or not Charlotte, Chicago race next year. So a backup plan could be run to Chicagoland. But there is, kind of talks about the Chicago Street Course wanting to come back, but funding is definitely becoming an issue. They did announce
I
that
like
it will no longer be the 4th of July weekend. That is now the Iowa race. I don't know how I feel about that one, but it's a new track for the 4th of July. We used to run Chicago, so I guess it's all the same.
I
But
like
now
the
4th of
street
July
race,
will
but
now be Iowa.
I like the street race stuff, but I didn't like the course at Chicago anyway, so I could care less about
Yeah.
that course. But
The other one that is still up in the air is there is talks that San Diego will in fact be back. Well, it has not been confirmed yet, but there was a sign when we were there that they were talking about 2027 San Diego tickets. This the mock schedule that I'm looking up now does have it the first weekend of August, which would be close to the same time frame of what they were talking about. Originally, it was in June, and they had talked about maybe 4th of July weekend, but that would not have worked because I know that San Diego has a amazing fireworks display, and that would have been a major issue. But so running the Naval Base Coronado race in August does make it a little, still makes it kind of warm, but I do feel like it is a better time area or scheduling area than where it was originally. So I would love to see Naval Base Coronado come back. I thought it was probably the best road course race I had been to for new fans because Chicago, obviously I had never been there. But I would love to have that race so I could experience it and compare. But I feel like NASCAR took this opportunity with the naval base and they blew it up way bigger than I think any of us expected. There were a lot of hiccups. I feel like they do need to redeem themselves because obviously they ran out of food. They had many logistics issues. But all in all, I feel like the race was semi interesting. I mean, that jump and turn between turns 1 and 2 was absolutely insane. They can't change that. I don't think they should change the course. But I feel like as hospitality purposes, they could definitely make improvements. The racing on track I thought was good. They need to figure out how to secure that wall better or make turn 1 a little wider so people to hit it. But definitely, definitely optimistic and hopeful they bring it back. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like we would possibly have 2 weeks off next year. The Easter weekend they will possibly have off, and it looks like they're going to have one in August, possibly after the in-season tournament if it comes back again. I kind of wish they would do away with it, but then again, I understand the circumstances or next the excitement and promotion around it. But nobody's really going to win this $1 million. I don't see anybody ever winning anytime soon. It's like the NCAA. Nobody can get a perfect bracket. It's even harder to do it with NASCAR. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I am kind of disappointed they brought the All Star race back to North Wilkesboro to take the point state away. But then again, anything's better than Dover and New Hampshire for their All Star race chances. So we'll see.
Wow, Jason, it doesn't look too bad. Actually, you need a little bit of hair there, but yeah, don't look too bad.
So I was
All right.
reading through some of these.
Yeah, I have no idea what Iowa stands for. Whatever
I
he's
was trying
talking
to figure
about.
that
So
out. He's going to have to explain that one.
I know what Newport stands for, but I won't say it here.
Uh-oh. But yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot this week. I know this week they go to Richmond. Um, I really don't have any picks for this week. I would hope. I like that one. That was a good one. In the corn.
It
That was a
wasn't
good
very
one.
nice.
But yeah, with Richmond this week, we have the Truck Series. There is no O'Reilly this week. They're off until the season finale at Daytona. That is one I do need to cover because the battle for the final, for the bubble in the O'Reilly Series is absolutely insane right now. It is what? Brent Cruz holds on to the final bubbles, a final spot in the chase. Taylor Gray is behind him by 1 point. Raja Karuth, who was at least 15 points back prior to this race. There was like a four-way tie for the last spot. Raja was 16th, I believe. He is now 14th. He is, I believe, only 15 points back with at least or at least one race left in the season before the championship. If Taylor Gray and Brent Cruz have any issues, or even Parker Retzloff, Sam Mayer, William Swalch, or Brent Cruz, if any of them have issues, we could be talking about a complete flip of the script for the O'Reilly
Absolutely.
cutoff. Raja is currently only out by 15. That is doable. If you win a stage and say get fifth, it is realistic that you could easily make up that gap. And if you win two stages, that like even multiplies your chances of making it. There's 4 drivers who are not locked in, and or at least two of them are within striking distance to fill in that gap. So I am that one's got me excited. The truck race cutoff, it's kind of, there's Stuart Friesen's holding on by it looks like 8 points. And it's like a 30-point gap to Jake Garcia in 12th. So I don't know how much ground can actually be made up in the next 2 weeks. But that playoff cutoff in the O'Reilly has me watching. I think Austin Cindric is far enough out in the O'Reilly and the Cup Series over Ryan Preece that I don't think there'll be much of a difference. It looks like it's almost 40-point gap, and I think you can only get 60 for winning the race, I think. Or no, 40 points. So unless Ryan Preece wins a race, I don't see him making up that gap. But then again, he did win the Clash this year, so anything can happen. I hate to bet against Richard Childress, but I feel like you can't get that lucky 3 years in a row. I know that they're running a special paint scheme for Austin Hill this week for the Bundle of Joy thing. Nothing against that, but I really, really think that Austin Hill needs to be demoted back to the O'Reilly series. I fully support them putting the Bundles of Joy on the car, but put anybody but Austin Hill in that car next year. He does not deserve that ride, especially after what we did last year at Indy. I am highly against him going in that car. That could be considered vehicular manslaughter, as he almost killed Eric Almirola last year. I see no reason he should have been promoted. I know it was in a pinch, and I understand it being in a pinch till the end of the year. But if you have to promote somebody, promote Jesse Love, because I do not think Austin Hill deserves to be in that car. by any means. I mean, currently, Jesse Love is higher than Austin Hill in points by like a whole 100 points, I believe, or all of 100 points. It's like 33 points. So I don't know. I am very excited for NASCAR 26 also. I actually brought the pre-order and it comes out the day before my birthday this year. So I am very excited to spend my birthday doing nothing but doing burnouts. I had to read that part. I'm very excited for that game to come out. I'm hoping that I get to spend all day doing that. So, but before I forget, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do an episode next week, if any of our followers or fans on here will be at New Hampshire in 2 weeks, please let us know. I would love to, meet you guys. Come say hi. We will be over in turn 2 for the truck race and the modified race, and kind of between, or not turn 2, turn 1 for the truck and modifieds, and semi in the middle of turn 1 in the front stretch for the cup race. So if any of our fans are going to be at the race, send us a message. I'd be more than willing to, tell you where we're going to be sitting at, so you can come say hi. I mean, I can sign some autographs or something, take a selfie so we can put it on our Facebook page and say we met some fans. So, but that was my little spiel
Nice.
there. I'm hoping to meet some fans.
Nice save, Jason. And also
But
any kart racers, local kart racers to the area around here, I believe Nathan will have the official Switch and Grooves Champ Kart with him this weekend. Not sure.
if the weather is nice, I do plan to come out. I want to help out the track a little bit this week. So if there is any kart racers this week, bring your stuff out. I'm not bringing my full equipment because I'm not expecting there to be a lot of champ karts. But if you guys want to come out, come see the 24N Switch and Grooves champ kart at Great Lakes Speedway. I should be out there Saturday, depending on if the weather is good.
It's actually a nice looking kart, so come check it out. Nathan, like I said, or like Nathan said, if anytime you're going to be at a track and you want to meet up with us, let us know. We'll be more than happy to meet with you. Or if you have kids that want to meet us, or
I'm
anything
very
like that, you want to come on the
photogenic. I
show.
love taking photos.
We're more than happy to take a picture with you, sign autographs, whatever you want. It's all about, especially the kids. We got to keep them interested, to keep them going. They're the future of the sport.
That's what I was just gonna say. They are the future of our sport.
So, and I've been also really busy contemplating uh, a new business venture and
Oh,
idea, but I'm not quite sure yet. So, obviously, I'm not going to let it out. I'm not going to tell anybody about it, but uh, so I might have to be flagging a kart race, Jason. I don't even know, man. I wasn't
I
expecting
gotta look.
to be on a flag stand again this year. So,
I gotta look and see what that even
but
is because I don't even remember.
but if we're all finished, uh, I'm gonna get off of here, close it up, and hit the sack because I gotta get up early in the morning. So,
Yeah, I gotta
but
get some stuff done for tomorrow also.
but while this is my little thing about the truck series. Now, while the immediate telemetry is drawn from Iowa and New York, the overarching narrative of the week includes the brutal.
Oop, we lost Russ. Um, Truck series. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Russ will be back shortly. All right, we'll do, Jason. I'll let you know what's going on. Have a good night, buddy. And he's back.
So, where did it cut off at? I
You were talking
lost
about the truck
you, I thought.
series. You were talking about the truck series, and then all of a sudden you disappeared. You started reading whatever you had written, and that was it.
Huh. But so I'll just start it over then.
There we go.
Um, while the like I said, while the immediate telemetry is drawn from Iowa and New York, the overarching narrative of the week includes the brutal logistical transition to Richmond Raceway. The upcoming Black's Tire 250 presented by BTS Rewards for the Truck Series August 14th and the Cookout 400 for the Cup Series August 15th represent a drastic shift in mechanical philosophy. Richmond Raceway is a 3/4 mile D-shaped oval known for an aging surface that generates extreme tire degradation. For the Truck Series, which utilizes a vehicle with a massive aerodynamic profile and significant inherent drag, Richmond is entirely dependent on mechanical grip rather than aerodynamic downforce. The setups generated for Iowa are virtually useless at Richmond. Teams must heavily manipulate the front suspension geometry, specifically camber and caster angles, to help the heavy trucks turn through the center of Richmond's flat, sweeping corners without destroying the right front tire. The impending transition from the from the high-speed aerodynamics of Michigan and the road course dynamics of Watkins Glen to the brake-heavy, grip-limited surfaces of Richmond perfectly encapsulates the relentless engineering crucible of the August NASCAR schedule. So, but in conclusion, the last week serves as a flawless microcosm of the sport's current era. Technologically advanced, physically punishing, and narratively dense. By synthesizing the telemetry and outcomes across the various disciplines, several higher order implications actually become evident. First, the rise of multidisciplinary mastery is rendering pure specialization obsolete. The success of drivers like Kyle Larson, winning on a dirt half mile in a 1,400-pound sprint car, Shane Van Gisbergen applying supercars to road racing NASCAR techniques, road racing techniques to heavy NASCAR stock cars, and Ty Gibbs managing thermal degradation on an abrasive short track proves that the underlying physics of grip management actually translate universally. Second, the developmental pipeline has been radically accelerated by digital technology. Ryan Timms winning the 360 Nationals at age 19, combined with Carson Kvapil's Xfinity victory at Iowa, suggests that high fidelity simulation is producing fully realized drivers at a substantially younger age. These young athletes are entering National Series possessing an innate, pre-calculated understanding of aerodynamic wash, tire conservation, and late race physical composure, which actually attributes historically reserved that were reserved for veterans with a decade of real world experience. And finally, the week exposed the brutal economics and engineering premiums of the sport. In NASCAR, the logistical bandwidth actually required to transition a Gen 7 car from a high downforce mechanical grip setup at Iowa to a braking intensive setup at Watkins Glen. And this isn't meant, just so you don't worry about correcting it, Nathan, this isn't meant to go from, from saying that we're going from Iowa to Watkins Glen. It's just comparing the two different tracks.
Yeah.
But that mechanical grip is set up from Iowa to a braking intensive setup at Watkins Glen, and then immediately preparing for a tire shredding surface like Richmond separates Tier 1 organizations from the rest of the paddock. Concurrently, the massive attrition seen at the Front Row Challenge with multiple chassis destroying rollovers, I should say, highlights the unforgiving financial reality of the independent sprint car racing teams, where a single mistake can decimate a team's budget for the entire remainder of the season. Ultimately, whether managing the thermal degradation of a Goodyear tire on Iowa asphalt or utilizing a massive slide job on the Marion County clay, the defining characteristic of this week was a relentless demand for adaptability in the face of extreme mechanical and environmental shifting. But that's going to wrap up this episode. And don't forget, we bring you recaps, breakdowns, and all those adrenaline packed moments every week. Whether you live for those sideways mudslinging dirt sliders or the door banging paint trading action in NASCAR, you belong here. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss a finish. And until next time, keep switching those grooves. I'm Russ Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
We're telling you to race hard.
Stay safe.
And we'll see you there. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.